Hey guys, it's Kara from iStampin.com. I thought that I would show y'all my desk before I get in today's project. We're going to be doing paper and ink sketches number 7. But I just thought I would show y'all this disaster of a desk that I have to clean up before I start shooting the video. Just curious if anybody else's desk looks like this. I guess this is a good distraction. We're waiting on Hurricane Matthew to hit Florida, so I thought I would do some crafting today. So anyway, I just thought that y'all would get a kick out of this and see what kind of mess I create when I make my projects. And the sucky part is now I've got to clean this up before I record the video. Usually I just like wipe everything, just clear everything off and just have like a little clean spot. But I thought this is just too much. So anyway, just a little insight into what my normal desk looks like. All right, guys. So I will be back with the project for today soon. Okay guys, I'm back. It took about 30 minutes to clean up that mess. Not too bad. All right, so I am here with sketch 7. This is paper and ink sketches. So if this is your first time seeing the series, twice a month I come out with a sketch that I would love for everybody to participate. I have this available on my website in a PDF format so that you can download and keep this in a binder. That's what I do. I put all of my sketches in there to be able to refer back when I'm struggling with trying to think of something. But as I always say, this is a sketch. You do not have to use it exactly as it's created. If you do, that's perfect. It takes away all of the thought process, but sometimes I kind of like to change things up. So usually the sketches I do change things up. I think there's been one or two that I've pretty much followed it to a T, but this week's sketch I did kind of change it up just a tad, not too much. You can see that I've got the fun little label there as it is here, but I did add some of the holly and berry leaves from one of the new Christmas stamp sets, and I'll show you what that is. The other thing that I used is our brand new cable knit, what do they call it? The cable knit dynamic texture impressions embossing folder, and you can find that on page 13 of our holiday catalog. If you haven't seen this yet, it's really neat. It's a very 3D effect embossing folder, which is a lot of fun. So I've already embossed it, but I'll give you a tip on how to use this in your Big Shot. But let's see, what else did I use that's new that I haven't used before? So this is the stamp set that I'm using, which is the Holly Berry Happiness, and you can find that on page 27 of the holiday catalog, excuse me. And I'm also going to be using the coordinating builder punch. So if you see here, there is a bundle, and when you use the bundle, you're going to get these 2 items at 10% off, and then if you purchase them separately. So be sure that if you like these 2 items that you use that bundle code. So that's how you save your 10% off. I'm using the decorative label punch. It's been a while since I've used that, so that was fun. That's how I made this label. And I did some heat embossing, so I'll show you how I did that. And then the paper that you see, the pattern paper that you see, is from the Presents and Pine Cones. I've been using that the last few times. I really like it. When I got it, when I saw it in the catalog, I was kind of like, eh, but as I always do, once I get it and start using it, it turns out to be a favorite of mine. So I always say, you got to try it. The inks that you'll just need is just Emerald Envy and some Cherry Cobbler, and those coordinating colors of cardstock as well. So let me put this off to the side and let's go ahead and get started. I did make this a side folding card. I think on the sketch it may be a top folding card. Yeah, it looks like it's a top folding card. So I went ahead and made it a side folding card. So this is just the standard A2 size. So what you do is you cut a piece of cardstock 8.5 by 4 1/4, and then you're gonna, 8.5 by 5.5, and score that at 4 1/4. And then I've already gone and ran the piece of Whisper White through the embossing folder. And this is just a 1/4 inch smaller. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. And we're just gonna layer that onto the card base. But before that, I wanna give you a tip about using the embossing folder. So you can see that it's large. I think this is probably like a 6 by 6 size, but it's very thick. It's a lot thicker than our normal embossing folder. So you can see here, I don't know if you'll be able to see you can see the thickness. This is just a standard one, and then this is the new one. So when you run this through the Big Shot, the way the sandwich is you have your Big Shot platform, and then you're gonna put your paper in the embossing folder and lay this directly onto the platform, and then put one of the acrylic plates on top. You don't want the acrylic plate between the platform and the embossing folder. If you do that, it's too thick to go through and it won't go through. So you just need to eliminate the bottom acrylic plate. So that's how that works. So I'm going to go ahead and put everything on this piece of cardstock before we attach it to the card base. So what I have here is a strip of pattern paper, and as you can see here, I sliced it wrong. This is 3/4 of an inch wide, and it's going to be 4 inches long once I cut it off, and I realized that I sliced it wrong, but I'm going to be covering it up with this 1/2 inch piece of crumb cake, so I didn't have to recut it. So if you make mistakes like that, see if you can salvage them. So like I said, this is 3/4 of an inch wide by 4, and then this is a 1/2 inch wide, and I'm going to cut this down to 4. So this is a little bit of a different change from the sketch. I just felt like it was what they were calling for was a little too wide for the decorative label punch. So let's go ahead and adhere this onto the card base, and I'm just using snail, and where that sliced part is, I am going to put a little bit more snail on there just to make sure that it adheres well. Yes, Pippa? Okay, so I've got that down, and now I'm going to go ahead and use snail to adhere the crumb cake onto the Designer Series paper. And that just goes in the middle. And so that the stripe, I don't know if I had mentioned this as well, that is Presents and Pine Cones part of the collection as well. And then just take your scissors and just trim off the edges, or you can use your paper trimmer, whichever you prefer. And the Presents and Pine Cones is part of the Designer Series paper sale that we're having for the whole month of October. So when you buy 3 Designer Series paper packs, you get your 4th one free. So the Presents and Pine Cones is part of that sale. So it's not all of the collections. I think it's only 8 collections, but that is one of them. So when you purchase the paper, you can purchase all 3 of the same and get your 4th of the same, so you can have 4 packs. You can switch it up. It doesn't have to be 4 different packs or whatever. It can be all the same. So just wanted to let you know that. Okay, and so that's going to be going onto the card base like that. The next thing we're going to do is I am going to actually stamp onto this piece of Designer Series paper. This is part of Presents and Pine Cones as well. If you saw my 12 Weeks of Christmas, my very first project, I used this pattern paper as well, and I just liked it so much that I wanted to use it again. I thought it would be perfect for stamping because it gives it an interest, but it's still light enough that you can see what you stamp. So I'm going to zoom in here for y'all so that you can see this a little bit better. So I'm going to come in just a little bit closer. Now I'm going to be doing some heat embossing, and I'm going to be using white embossing powder. So the first thing that you want to do is just to rub your paper with our embossing buddy, and that just eliminates any static that you may get with the powder. And then let's see, where's my, oh, here we go. I'm I need Versamark ink, and I am using this sentiment right here, Christmas Wishes from Across the Miles. And I've got that already on my block, so, and I'm just gonna stamp that right here. I know you can't see that very well, if at all. So now I'm just going to sprinkle the white embossing powder over that, and then I'll use my heat tool to set it. There you go, you can see that better. Okay, and then with the heat tool, what I always like to do, you can see here that, whoops, how about that? You can see here that we have two different settings, 1 and 2. I always like to start it off on setting 1 until it gets warm, and then I switch it up to setting 2. That kind of eliminates the paper from warping. Okay, so that's what it looks like once it's done. And now we're just going to take the decorative label punch and slide that in here. And just make sure that it's even on the sides and the top and the bottom. And that looks good. And just punch it out. So the next thing that we're going to do is some stamping. And I've just got a scrap piece of Emerald Envy and Cherry Cobbler. Okay, Pippa, what are you doing? And what you're going to want to do is to get these few images. So you're going to want the outlines of the 2 different size leaves, and then that little cluster of berries. Okay, Pippa, you got to get down, girl. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get our Cherry Cobbler out. And just stamp that. And then with the Emerald Envy, we're going to do 2 smaller leaves and then just 1 of the larger leaves. And I'm going to punch these out as I stamp it, because the way this punch is, it's kind of strange. And I don't want to waste a whole lot of paper. Actually, see, like that one, I didn't stamp it right. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Okay, so this one is just straight on. With these builder punches, you kind of have to work with the way they have the paper or the punch laid out in this little guy. Okay, let's see here. Like that. Whoops. Oh, you know why? I did it upside down. Okay, I'm going to show y'all something. On this one, on the big one, you want the stem at the top when you stamp. So, oh, shoot. I couldn't figure out why it didn't line up properly, and that's, well, hell's bells. Okay, Pippa, get down. Trying to do this too fast and making mistakes. There we go. All right, now let's try this. There we go, now it fits. Okay. Okay, and so the way this one is in the punch, I'm going to kind of angle, I'm going to kind of stamp on an angle and see if that works. There we go. Okay, and then I just need to do that again with another. With one more. Okay. Just kind of have to work around it, but eventually you'll get it, and it's worth it. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is get my glue dots. I found this to be the easiest way to adhere these leaves. And again, where the vein starts, that's going to be the bottom of the leaf. So that's where you're going to want to put the glue dot. And I have it hanging off on the bottom right part of the label. Of course, you can change it up if you want, but that's just where I decided to put it. And so I'm putting the two smaller leaves on first. I'm kind of putting them opposite of each other. And now I'm going to come in with the larger holly leaf. Again, where the vein is, that's going to be the part that I glue down to the paper. And that's just going to kind of overlap the two smaller leaves. And then, oh gosh, where the hell did that berry go? Oh, there it is. I never punched it out. Okay, so let's punch out this little guy. What is it, Peppa? You're not going outside. This cat keeps wanting to go outside, and I'm like, it's raining constantly. Okay, here we go. Okay, and then do a glue dot on this little guy. And that's just going to go right there. All right, and then that's just going to straddle the, or not really straddle, but it's just going to go right on top of the little band. And I'm just going to use dimensionals and put 3 right on top, just to make sure that it's adhered well. And then we just need to attach this to our card base, and this card will be all done. So just center that, center it in the card, and then also on the band. There we go. And then because this is so textured, I've decided to use our tear and tape adhesive. Snail may work well, but I just thought since I have this, this would be a good adhesive to use with how dimensional this embossing is. So I'm just going to use 3 strips. And then what I like to do is just to take my bone folder and kind of burnish just one edge, and then just use my scissors, the tip of it, and then just peel off the backing paper, and that makes it super easy. Okay, and then just bring our card base back in, and then just center this onto the card, and it will be done. And there you go. Just a very simple card using the Paper and Ink Sketches number 7, and just some fun new products from our holiday catalog. All right, guys, if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, and head on over to my blog where you can find out all of the products that I used, plus be able to download the PDF for today's sketch. And please subscribe there if I didn't already say it, to my exclusive newsletter. And if you have any questions over the sketches, please don't hesitate to ask. I'd love for you to create a sketch and upload a picture. You can do that on my Facebook page, which is iStampin', or you can even do that on the comments section on today's blog post. Okay guys, have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye.